salt and pepper chips. Yum. Sharp knife, chopping board. I've washed my hands before I start. I've got a large pan of water on to boil. You're going to need also a roasting tin, which needs to go in the oven very shortly, and potatoes. I've got two here, but I'm only going to use one. An onion, chilli, red or green, but red preferably, and then half a green and half a red pepper. If you don't want to buy two, just use one full colour. Some garlic, a clove of garlic and a stick of spring onions. You need some mixed five spice, some salt, some ground black pepper, some oil, either olive oil or sunflower oil, a little bit of caster sugar, and let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is get your baking tray or your roasting tin, and into this you need to put a little bit of oil, and this needs to go into a preheated oven which is on 200 degrees centigrade. That needs to go in to be preheated, ready to take your potatoes when they've been done. So one large potato. I've washed these potatoes, got all the soil off them because I'm not peeling them. One large potato, flat side down, and cut into slices. So I'm just doing a bridge here and then going to cut them into slices like chips. Okay, we're not doing wedges, we're just doing chips. Okay, so using the claw, I've used the bridge to cut it in half. I'm going to use the claw now to make the slices. And once these are done, we're going to parboil them to get them cooking before we put them into the oven. Okay, so one decent sized potato is more than sufficient for a portion because you've got lots of other things you're going to be putting with this. Okay, so I've got my chips and I've got my pan of water, and I'm going to pop my chips into the water. It's been on the stove coming to the boil. It's not hot enough yet, and you need to bring this to the boil for 5 minutes just to parboil your potatoes. That gives them a head start when you put them in the oven into the roasting tin. Okay, next thing is your onions, your chilies and your peppers. So we'll start with the peppers because onions make you cry. You're going to use half an onion. So cut the sides off, two sides off half your onion, half your pepper, and then the other two sides off your other pepper. All right, we're using red and green because it gives nice colours. I'm going to also take the white pith out of the pepper because it can be quite bitter. And then using the blade of your knife, you're going to do nice fine slices. Okay, using the claw, and you're going to chop nice and finely because you don't want great big chunks of pepper in these. You want them to cook down when you fry them off later on. So try and keep them all similar size. This is a good practice to get your claw technique going. Okay, so keeping your fingers out of the way. My thumb's at the back there holding the pepper in place. My little finger's also next to near my thumb at the back, and my other three fingers are guiding my knife through the small thin slices. Okay, and the better you get at this, the faster you'll be able to go. So it's just practice. Okay, see how I'm rocking the knife, keeping the point on the actual chopping board, and I'm using that rocking motion. Okay, so that's my peppers. Now you put these on your white tray at school, but I'll put them on the worktop here because I've only got a little kitchen. Okay, so then we're going to do the chilli. Now I don't want to get chilli all over my fingers because the hottest part of a chilli is the seeds and the pith inside. So I've just sliced it down the middle because I want smaller slices in this, so I'm not going to get a big bite of chilli in my food. And then I'm going to cut all the way up towards the top until I start getting lots of seeds because I don't want it so hot that I can't taste all the other foods. Okay, and then once that's done, you can mix this in with your peppers because they're all from the same family. I'm just going to get rid of those extra seeds, but they're all from the same family. And then I'm going to top and tail my garlic. Now I'm not crushing the garlic, I'm going to slice it very finely. It's going to be sliced up, so no crushing garlic using the garlic crushers today. We're going to actually slice them up very, very finely. Okay, taking the outer layer of the papery stuff off. It's part of the onion family, so I'm going to do the onion as well. Okay, so don't forget the hairy bottom and cut the top off. And we're going to slice the onion, so we need to take all the peel off. Notice I don't have the peel on my chopping board. I've got a nice clean chopping board. I've not got bits of onion on it. I've not got bits of pepper. You know, I've got a chopping board that is clear, so that I've got the space to be able to use it for its purpose, of which is chopping stuff. So using the bridge, cut down right through, so you've got 2 semicircles of your onion. Flat side down, and again, using the claw, you're going to slice the onion nice and finely. Okay, because you want sort of equal size slices and equal size pieces for the whole dish. Alright, I'm going to use the whole onion, but it does say a small onion. This is quite a large one, but I'm going to use the whole onion. Personally, I really like onions, so. Okay, and then the other half, and slice that up nice and finely. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be looking for in the lesson later on this week, is nice, fine slices. Good use of the knife, taking your time with it, getting accuracy. Okay, because this is what matters when it gets to GCSE. Okay, so I'm going to put all these things now onto a plate that I have in the kitchen because I don't have a white tray. And then I'm going to slice my garlic. And again, this is nice and finely. Okay, can you see that rocking motion? And you can see how you can do this and get better and better at it with more practice. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is a spring onion. So I'm going to take the root off and I'm going to peel the outer layer, which is a bit papery, off the spring onion. You can use nearly all spring onion. People just think you can use the white bit at the bottom, but actually you can use it all. So again, using the claw, I'm just going to slice it all the way up until I get to the papery bit of the green onion. So I can keep going with this right up to almost near the top. You don't want to lose the flavour. Okay, there we go, and we're just getting to the papery bit, so I've just taken a layer off and I'm just carrying on with this till I get to the bit where I don't like the last. So there's my onion and there's my garlic. So I'm going to now drain my chips because they've been boiling for about 5 minutes. I'm going to drain them in a colander in the sink. You can't see this because of the position of the camera. And then I'm going to put the colander back over the top of the pan, and the steam is going to air dry these chips because I don't want them absolutely soaking in water to pour them into the hot fat, which I've just taken out of the oven. So this is my hot fat, and you'll see it starting to sizzle when I pour the chips into it. So you need to be careful of this when you're working in the kitchen and making sure that the fat doesn't spit up at you, and making sure your chips have dried out a little bit and they've not got lots of water on, because fat and oil oil and water do not mix, and if you're not careful it can spit and cause you to get some serious burns. Okay, so once I've mixed them in the oil a little bit, you can see it's all cooking away there and frying away. I'm going to put these back in the oven. Now this is my spice mix, which I'm going to go over and again in a minute, and now I'm going to fry off all the vegetables and some peppercorns, etc., ready for when the chips have roasted. So I'm going to start with some Szechuan peppercorns, and I'm just going to start with them with a little bit of oil, moving them around in the pan, and then I'm going to add to this the onions, the peppers, the garlic, not the spring onions. So the garlic goes in, and the chilies. Okay, so it all goes in, onions, peppers, chili, everything in. And I'm going to move this around. Now you'll be cooking this for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so it's nice and soft. You want it on a good heat because you want the caramelized onion, you want the onions to caramelize, you want the peppers to start getting some coloration on them, because you want a nice flavour in the whole of the dish. So I'm speeding through this with the video. So this has been on for now 5 minutes, and you can see how everything's softened down a little bit more. And I keep moving this around the pan, and then this has been on 10 minutes, and you can see the difference. Again, it's all softened down, starting to brown off. And get your spatula underneath, get it turned over, got the onions caramelising, and I'm really happy with the way the colour and the texture of all the vegetables in this is going. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding the chips. So I've taken them out of the oven, and I'm going to put them into the mix in the frying pan, and then we're going to tip in the seasoning that we've done, which you saw in a small bowl earlier, which is half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and half a teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice. Okay, so you put your chips in, mix them in, pour your seasoning mix over the top. And just move this out the way so that I don't knock it on the floor because it's extremely hot. And then I'm going to put my spices in and stir it all through, heat it through. Oh, I forgot, yeah, the spring onions as well. Okay, put the spices in, stir it all through for 2 to 3 minutes until it's all mixed in nicely, and then it's ready to serve. It looks like proper salt and pepper chips that you would get from the Chinese, only it is healthier because you've not deep fried the chips, you've roasted them. Okay, you've done oven chips with this. You could do this with any form of chips, it doesn't have to be fresh made ones. So if you ever fancied doing something like this, you could do with oven chips. Alright, and there you have it. That is your salt and pepper chips.